Morning, Danny.
Hello, mate. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Very well, thank you. Very well.
A couple of days ago, it was 3 years since Leighton Orient was promoted to the Football League, and he was obviously part of that setup. I was wondering if you could give some reflections on that day and that period at Leighton Orient, just in Edinburgh.
Yeah, it was a fantastic time. Learned a lot off the man. I loved the club. You know, it's where my dad started his playing career, and that's where I started my coaching career. So that was nice sort of thing for me and my dad to talk about a lot. And it had been through a lot of dark times, so similar to Chesterfield, where there was issues with the ownership and protests, etc. And we've obviously got proper people in charge of the club now, and it's going hopefully in the right direction. And that's what happened at Orient towards the end with Justin coming in. He sort of rescued the club from going down to the Conference South. And the next season we didn't walk it, but we were quite comfortable getting over the line. It was a good feeling. And I just saw the way he dealt with the pressure. He dealt with the expectation of the fans. When we had a few dodgy results, he dealt with that. He took it all on his own shoulders to sort of to take the pressure off, like me as his coach, and that off the staff, off the players. And that was something I'll always learn as a manager should be and act like that, is to be there and be there for his team. And that's what he did. And it was obviously a very sad loss. But you know, I think there's similarities to this club, the size, the expectation. I think that we obviously got promoted at Orient in our second season out of it. It's going on longer here, obviously. So, you know, people are getting frustrated. It's taken Wrexham a very long time to potentially get out of it. We don't want to wait beyond this year, that's for sure.
You mentioned the similarities between the two clubs. Obviously, the players were different at Orient compared to what they are here. But is there any skills or sort of traits or qualities you've in that sort of team, that Champions team, that you've noticed in this team as you've been working with them players?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a really good dressing room. There's a good feel. You know, as I keep saying, the lads here are probably the best I've worked with as a coach or a player in terms of the characters, and as lads, good people. And I've got a lot of time for each and every one of them. I suppose at Orient we had a goal scorer in Macaulay Bond that scored 30 plus. We did have a goal scorer in Chimanga that was probably at 40 plus. So that's stating the obvious. You know, that has been a big loss, but that's what you build squads for. You know, that's what you do. You have to sadly plan that your best players sometimes might get injured. It was a shame he got his injury through you know, the carelessness of someone else's tackle, but that's going over old ground. But I think to get up, you need a good dress room, you need to get togetherness, you need a good support base, which is what we've got here. And ultimately, you need a bit of character, a bit of bravery, because when it does get a little bit nervy and jangly and we're all biting our nails in the touchline and in the stand and watching the scores come in from the other teams going on, you've got to hold your nerve. And if we don't hold our nerve, we won't go up. And that's the same for every team in the league.
On to Bromley, how have you rated their season, this campaign?
I think early on, I mean, I remember saying that I thought they'd be one of the ones right up there. It was just because they got that 4G pitch, and I know Sutton used it to advantage last year to get up. Harrogate previously, it has a big bearing on their home results. I think for whatever reason, you know, it's tailed off a bit for them. Doesn't make them a bad team. They've got the Wembley games to look forward to, which is obviously something great for the players to look forward to there. But at the same time, they'll be massively focused on us tomorrow. I think he'll want to finish as high as he can, Andy Woodman, the manager. And so it doesn't become a sort of a waste of a season for him. We've got to make sure we go there and just be up for a fight.
How much detail or analysis will you put into the previous game early on the season? It was more or less the start of the season. Will you give that much thought going in tomorrow? Will that be analysed much, or is it sort of old ground sort of thing?
No, I think we'll look back on that. I think that game was the story of a few too many games for us this year. Those late equalisers, you know, that's happened far too often. As I don't need to remind the supporters, that's happened whether it be home or away. That's happened too often. So that's something, whether it's Bromley or somewhere else, we're going to have to eradicate going forward for this season and for next season, because we can't lose that many points again later on. But yeah, we'll have a look back on that game. We'll certainly watch their last couple of games and look at their strengths and try and eradicate it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Danny.
No problems, mate. Good to see you.
You too, mate. Cheers.